This is the Chery Omoda E5, the very latest EV to show up here in Malaysia, with a B-segment SUV body style, a 430-kilometer range, as well as class-leading warranty and service coverage. Is this now the new family EV to watch? My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH, this is Malaysian Motoring, and this is our launch coverage of the new Chery Omoda E5. Now, there have been significant changes to the front end of the Omoda E5, obviously to accommodate its new electric powertrain. Charging is done up front with a DC charging rate of up to 80 kilowatts and an AC charging rate of up to 11 kilowatts, allowing this car to charge from dead to full via AC in about 7-ish hours, whereas 30 to 80%, according to Chery, can be completed in just 28 minutes. Now, in terms of the aesthetic changes on the front, as you can see, firstly, there is no more Chery badging. You only get Omoda badging up front, very prominent, and in a slightly different script than what we got from the Omoda 5 ICE. We still get the split headlight design with the LED, daytime running lights and indicators up top, as well as the headlights and fog lights down on the side. You get a much cleaner front end, as well as what they're telling us is an active grille shutter on that lower grille in order to improve aerodynamics or cooling, depending on what the vehicle needs. Down the side, it looks very familiar, very similar to the Omoda 5 that we've reviewed before. But of course, there are unique 18-inch alloy wheels which have a slightly more aerodynamic design, and they are wrapped in Kumho tires, which should provide adequate performance and, more importantly, very good NVH levels. Now, the overall side profile of the Omoda 5 remains as attractive as it's ever been, with the fastback type roofline now ending in a little spoiler down below, which I think looks quite smart. But it's actually at the rear where you'll find slightly more significant changes, like a very different lower bumper, as well as, again, this little spoiler that I mentioned earlier. This is all to improve aerodynamic drag, which is why Chery claims that the Omoda E5 is among the most aerodynamically efficient vehicles in its class. Now, behind this electrically powered tailgate, you will find a pretty decent amount of space, as well as this parcel shelf. But more importantly, underneath this boot floor, you will no longer find a spare tire. Instead, you have a tire repair kit, as well as a little bit of storage just for smaller, lower items. You won't be able to fit the charging cables down here. Now, of course, the power tailgate and so on, this is all pretty standard, and this is all very similar to what we've seen from the Omoda 5 in the past. The biggest change actually comes inside. Now, the interior of the Omoda E5 actually represents a very significant change from the regular internal combustion Omoda 5. Because for starters, this interior architecture is very more in line with what we've seen from the Tiggo 8 Pro rather than the Omoda 5. And so you have this plasti wood here, as well as this Mercedes-like sort of door cardan. I do apologize for the noise, as many other industry colleagues are opening and closing the boot like they've never seen an electric tailgate. Now, the button arrangement down here is also very similar to what we've seen from Mercedes-Benz, but this change in the center console is much more significant because we now no longer have a gear selector. Instead, you now have a wireless charging pad, a couple of cup holders here, as well as the bin down here. There is even more cubby space here, as well as more cubby space down here, which is interestingly also cooled. Now, talking about that, the two front seats are both ventilated, and you also get dual zone climate control, which can be manipulated via the new central screen. You no longer have HVAC controls or HVAC shortcuts here. Now, the reason I bring up the matter of the screen is because this is a slightly different operating system to what we've seen before from Chery, with different graphics and, more importantly, with the use of a Qualcomm chip. I'm really not a tech YouTuber. With the use of a Qualcomm chip, it does mean that this is now snappier and far more responsive than before, and that should mean that your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto should run pretty well. The same goes for the digital instrument cluster, which is again of a slightly different system and a slightly different design from before, which again should respond clearer and crisper than before as well. We also get a set of capacitive touch buttons on the side of the instrument cluster, which is again unique to the Omoda E5 or previously seen from the Tiggo 8 Pro. You also get a different steering wheel design with more capacitive touch buttons, although I really don't know how I feel about that. But you do at least get cameras here in order to monitor the driver as part of the ADAS 2.5 system, and you also get a physical gear selector, which is always nice, Tesla. Now, in the back of the Omoda E5, as you can see, there is a pretty decent amount of kneeroom and a pretty decent amount of headroom, no doubt aided by the fact that there's no longer a panoramic sunroof. You just get a rather small sunroof in the front. Now, as you may be able to see, we do have an armrest here with a couple of cup holders. There is a single air conditioning vent here with a USB-A and USB-C port. There are door bins here large enough to fit a bottle. There are ISOFIX mounts here, and you can access them via these little retractable clips. And overall, everything here is pretty good, except for one particular thing. And that's the fact that this floor is quite high. So with the seat set up in my driving position, I have very little space to tuck my feet in underneath the seat in front of me, and I have no under thigh support, which means being sat back here over a longer period isn't going to be that great. I think the BYD Atto 3 does a little bit better. That said, however, the interior quality back here is miles better than BYD, because you still have the beautiful stitching up here, you still get soft touch materials all the way down here, and you still get that Mercedes-Benz-esque door card, which I guess if you're fine with the aping, it's not bad for 146 grand. Now, the Omoda E5 comes fully specified with all of the advanced driver assist features that you might want, and Chery claims that this is now ADAS 2.5, which means that you get things like autonomous emergency braking, radar-guided cruise control with traffic jam assist, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, a 540-degree camera, which basically means that you can also see underneath the car, as well as various other safety functions, which bring it up to that level 2.5 functionality. This, of course, goes in well with that driver attention warning camera that I pointed out earlier, although I certainly hope that works better than what we've seen from Smart. Now, the Omoda E5 heads onto the Malaysian market at 146,800 ringgit, inclusive of a 7-year, 150,000 kilometer warranty for the vehicle, an 8-year, 160,000 kilometer warranty for the power battery, as well as the drive unit and so on, as well as a 1-to-1 battery replacement during that period should your battery health drop below 70%. This, Chery claims, makes it the class leading in terms of battery warranty as well as vehicle warranty for EVs. Let us know what you think about the Chery Omoda E5 in the comment section below. Let us know if you think that this is a better buy than the BYD Atto 3, or if you think that BYD has a better package in the Atto 3. In any case, that's been our launch coverage of the new Chery Omoda E5. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you in the next one. Take care and stay safe.